everyday life is just like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward was going to work, he was going to his dance class and then coming home sleeping. He was going to work, dancing, and like life will feel like that and you're just like, what is the point? I'm just here, going through the motions.
The feeling of being stagnant and like stuck in the motions, that's a good indicator that you're probably like, you're confined to whatever others might think you should be doing, what you might think you should be doing, or what society thinks you should be doing.
What do I need in this moment? What about my life right now does not click for me?
Welcome back to Breaking Four Corners. We're here to help support you in redefining boundaries and unlocking your true potential.
So today we're going to talk about breaking the box. So the first step in breaking the box is, I feel like this is like NA. The first step is realizing that you're in the box. So how do you know that you're in the box? Like what are the confines? Like what makes you think that like, I feel stuck, like I'm in a box?
Well, stuck is a good place to start. Like, first of all, the feeling of being stagnant and like stuck in the motions, that's a good indicator that you're probably like, you're confined to whatever others might think you should be doing, what you might think you should be doing, or what society thinks you should be doing.
With life being stagnant, it's like you're not going backwards, you're not going forward, you're just in this one place. And I feel like also being in that one place, life feels boring. You're like, just everyday life is just like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward was going to work, he was going to his dance class and then coming home sleeping. He was going to work, dancing, and like life will feel like that and you're just like, what is the point? I'm just here, going through the motions, which I've been there and I hate it.
Yeah, not feeling a sense of fulfillment also. I think with us, like, especially in the realm of like production and being in a creative space, that's like you said in our past episode, our first episode actually, you didn't even feel like you were working. Like being in a creative space felt like something you could do 24/7 without worrying about how much am I making, should I clock out, like it's very freeing to the mind, and I feel like the soul to an extent. Yeah,
I agree, because that fulfillment is definitely, it's spiritual in a sense, because we're adding to the world when we're fulfilled, you know? So we're feeding ourselves, but also feeding the world. And I think that's kind of what this thing called life is about. And when you're just like in this box, you're not being addition, you're not moving, you're not growing or evolving, you're just there. And no one wants to just exist and be there and just be in that box. And so once you realize you're in the box, it's like, okay, how do I break the box?
What am I gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? I think that's a great question to ask yourself when you do feel like, or when you are finally at a place where you can acknowledge, okay, this is not a good place for me.
Yeah.
What do I do about it? I'm curious as to what you guys feel like you do. Like after you get to that moment of, I am stagnant, I don't feel fulfilled, I'm in this endless cycle, what do you feel like the next step is?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to think of how all of our brains work when we're like, I feel like I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. And I know for me personally, the first step is that inner work, which comes with realizing you're in the box, but then next is like addressing your needs. Like, what am I in need of in this moment? And like taking it back to like our stories, being in construction management, it was like, what do I need in this moment? What about my life right now does not click for me. Like, so whether it's me doing the same exact work every single time I'm coming into work, and for some people that's great. You might love that repetition of I come in, I go on my Excel sheet, I'm I'm ordering such and such, and that's, you love that. But me, I realize that I need variety. I need to switch things up. I can't do the same thing every day or I'm gonna go insane. And so that goes down to addressing your needs. What's for me might not be for you. What's for you might not be for me.
I think I can resonate with that, especially in terms of music. Like, I enjoyed doing it, but it got to a point where I didn't really know what I was doing it for. I didn't know what was gonna come from me doing it. It didn't feel like it didn't feel fun anymore. And not to say that it had to feel fun per se, but like it wasn't feeding my soul in such a way that made me want to keep doing it and made me excited about waking up and going to go sing. I don't get me wrong, I do still love to sing though. I do. But it felt like pressure. So with addressing your needs, we kind of want to dive into fleshly versus spiritual desires.
I think when we talk about like being in the box and wanting to break out of it, I think a big thing to look at is the world's visions and the worldly views, and then your own personal views and beliefs. So for me specifically, I am Christian. I do look at things on a Christian spiritual standpoint. And so with that, it's denying the flesh and going after the spiritual, picking up my cross. And within that, it's like not listening to the outside noise of what the world wants for me to do and what's happening in the world, because sometimes we let media show us what we should do. Because like right now, it's like a culture of like tricking out and stuff, and like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I'm not too hip with the kids, but it's a certain like it's a certain portrayal that happens with like what your life should look like. And I think sometimes that will get us into a headspace where we feel like our life isn't right.
Who's to say like what your life should look like? Who's to say you should be doing this and that when you should be doing it? I believe in divine timing, and even the moment of you realizing that you're stuck, like that is very significant in the process of your own journey, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, even like going back to like the spiritual aspect of it, I think we sometimes can let outside factors, worldly factors, and even fleshly desires of like greed and as such, cause us to make certain decisions. Because me in my past, everything was driven by money, and this world is very driven by money. But is that fulfilling to the soul? And is it something that, for me personally, is that something that God would want me to do, just be money hungry? I also have Romans 8:13. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the misdeeds of the body, you will live. Living with fleshy desires, living in greed, that's a way to die, because inside I felt dead. like my soul was not happy with chasing after things that I know that God wouldn't want me to. But once I went towards a route that I knew God was calling me towards, I found peace within, peace in my spirit. And so it's very important to like listen to your soul in moments like this and not letting outside voices affect the way we think as human beings.
Yeah, I think something to consider, and no matter what you're doing, is, well, in terms of, you know, when it comes to putting fleshly desires and thinking of greed and money, like what does it cost a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? It's
hard for us to just say like, don't go after the money to get you out the box, because having no money will still have you in the box, you know?
But at the end of the day, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. And it really might seem like you are, but you're not. And I think, at least within my journey, when it came down to siding with the money versus what was really feeding my soul, I have been in a place where I did side with the money. Like you said, you were there too. It did not do anything for the soul, but when I recognized that and I changed things, it made me see things differently, because I feel like deep down I knew that what's for me is going to be for me, and what I'm meant to be doing, what I'm called to be doing, is going to be fruitful in some way, shape, or form. And I think that trumps money at the end of the day.
And I was always taught growing up that do what you love and the money will come. Like, you have to work hard at what you love. So it just can't be like, oh, like, say I love to sing, so I'm just gonna sing, but you're just in your room singing and you're like, I'm broke. No, if you love to sing, you need to get up.
Put that
you need
foot to the pedal.
Put that foot to the metal. You need to be in classes. You need to be trying to record on YouTube, on TikTok, getting your voice out there. You still have to grind. So that's like, faith without works is dead. Like, you have to put something to it. But I believe that if you're passionate about something, you can make it work. You can make the money come. I definitely didn't think I could make money in media. Like, I was like, there's no money there. But here I am, living, thriving, making ends meet, like, on media, using a camera, you know, on a little computer doing, like, editing. I'm thriving. So whatever it is out there that you see yourself wanting to do, you sit at home, you're like, I love to bake. That's all I want to do. You got it. Go open your bakery. It's going to take some work, but you can do it, you know? While you're breaking that box that you're in, I think it's very important to look at the reasons that you possibly could have gotten in the box. And I think one of those things that I realized had to do with me being in the box was my circle. I think your circle is very important. If you're in a circle with people where they're very linear and there's no progression, you don't see them growing, you don't see them grinding like you see in yourself, I think that causes you to go in that same route. I was always taught that, you know, you're only as good as the people around you. Like, it's the company you keep, and you reflect the 5 people in your circle. I think it was 5. I might be wrong, but it's something about, like, the 5 people you surround yourself around is who you become. So if I'm hanging out with people that aren't doing anything, they don't care what they're doing, or they're just on a different mindset, I'm not gonna grow. And I'm very big on my company. Y'all not about to bring me down. I think it also is very important, like, taking time to sit with yourself and reflect. Like, you need that quality time to think about what you want, whether that's meditating, whether that's praying, whether that's journaling, trying to get your thoughts out into a clear format to realize what is for you. Like me going from construction management to production, it's not like I could just like think about it and be like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Like it was something that took prayer. It took like talking out with other people to see if this is the right step. So if you want to make a change, like really think about it, pray about it, whatever it is that works for you, try to figure out how you're gonna get out of this box. Like, what is the answer that works for you?
It comes to a point where you have to make the decision that you're going to break the box. You're going to step outside of your norms. You're going to switch it up. Whatever your heart and your soul is calling you to do, and you might not know it right now, and that's okay. But making those changes so that you're able to be in a place where you're susceptible to finding like where you should be right now or where you want to be right now.
Once you have like realized that, you've reflected on it, and you've like in the process of like breaking that box, you really have to sit there and think about like what works for me. What does that look like? What is breaking the box for me? Is it me starting a business?
Getting a hobby?
Getting a hobby. Is it me changing career paths? Is it starting a family? Is it moving states?
Yeah.
What is it in your life that you feel like, I don't know what to do with it right now? Because you never want to be in a place where you feel like you have no direction in your life. And not to say that you always need to be moving in life, but you should always feel like you're evolving. You should always feel at peace where you are. So if there's no peace there, maybe something needs to change. Maybe there's something that you need to really try to make an actionable step about. I think this episode was really important with us being breaking four corners, because it's just getting really to the knit and grit of who are we? What are we here for? And we're really wanting you to get out of a squared, limited mindset.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you tune in again on our next episode. We really hope that you take some time to reflect. And if there's something that's making you feel confined, sit with it and figure out ways that you might be able to change it so that you feel more fulfilled in life. So we hope to see you again. Thanks.